start. Why I left LA. This is something that is super personal. I think it's taken me a while to film this video because of how personal it is. And quite frankly, I don't even know where to begin. There's so many mixtures of feelings that I have and that I had in making this decision. But again, it was all very personal to me. And I loved my experience in LA. I loved living there. I loved the opportunities that I had, not just at my job as a reporter, but just being in that atmosphere of Hollywood, LA. I mean, it's something that people dream about and that not everybody gets to experience. And it's something that I dreamed about ever since I was a little girl, was moving to Los Angeles and experiencing just a different world. I'm even here drinking a matcha latte because it feels more like LA to me. They have matcha lattes in New York City too, but you know, I really experienced them to the fullest in Los Angeles. But I think in order to really understand my decision, you probably have to learn a little bit more about me. So I didn't always know that I wanted to be an on-camera reporter, an on-camera personality, any of that. I didn't always know I wanted to do that. But I knew that storytelling was going to be a part of not just my career, but my life, my purpose, my mission. As a little girl, I always knew that I wanted to move to LA. And it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to be an actress, or again, I didn't know I wanted to be on camera at that point. But yeah, it was probably a bit of that Hollywood dream, something that I thought would just be an incredible experience. And I think especially as a little girl in like the 90s, early 2000s, you know, you see Hollywood and you see the palm trees, the beaches, the perfect weather, the beautiful people, and who wouldn't want to be a part of that in any way, shape, or form? And I definitely became enamored with that at a very young age. I still pinch myself to think that I actually did it. My dream did happen. So now what? I think that those are the types of feelings that I'm going through even right now. Now what? What do I do? The decision that I had to make to come back home was not an easy decision. And it all stemmed around COVID-19, the pandemic. When I moved to Los Angeles, in the beginning, of course, there was this honeymoon phase. Oh my goodness, I'm finally here. I'm in this place that I've always dreamed about being. And I'm working at the #1 station in the #2 market in the United States of America, in this country. And I was just like, oh, so excited. Like, to say that that was an honor is probably an understatement. And the first couple of months that I lived in LA, I was going through this honeymoon phase of just really diving into my job, into my work, and making sure that I saw all of the sights in LA, all of the main attractions, all of the beaches. I even started taking acting classes, you know, because when in Rome, why not? And I met some incredible people through the acting classes that I took, and you guys know who you are. And I was just so excited to be there. And then it hit me, oh my goodness, I am on the opposite side of the country, and I don't know anyone here. I don't have any family here. And I got to know people. I got to know some incredible friends that I still consider my friends to this day that I met in LA. But even more so, I got to connect with the community in probably a deeper way than most people get to in their careers. And I think that's why so many journalists want to do this job of becoming a journalist and a reporter, because you do get to connect with your community and learn things that you wouldn't otherwise learn. I mean, every single day was different. You know, one day I could be talking to a mom and her son that just started their own business, you know, to help the community. The next day I could be talking to the fire chief because of a local wildfire. You know, the day after that I could be talking to someone who, you know, just got sent to prison because of a Ponzi scheme they started. I don't know, you know, like every day was truly different. And sometimes I got to talk to celebrities and, you know, big influencers and influential people. And that was also very insightful in a lot of ways. Not everyone gets to do that. And I understand that. And I hold that so close to my heart, because not only did I meet amazing people and get to talk to them and have conversations, but I shared their stories. Some of the most vulnerable moments in people's lives. When I say sometimes I shared people's most tragic stories, and sometimes I shared their happiest moments, their most exciting ones. And I don't take that for granted. And I implemented myself into this community, into this world, so much that it became a sort of life purpose, a life mission. Then the pandemic hit. And I think this pandemic for a lot of people has put a lot of things into perspective. Obviously, it's affected people in a lot of tragic ways. And I was lucky enough to still have a job, to still have a company that was paying me, to still be able to connect to the community. And I had to continue telling some tragic stories while I was working and thriving in a lot of different ways. But with all of that going on, the first thing and the first people that I thought about were my family. And I did not have a single family member in California. And in the beginning of the pandemic, the epicenter was New York City. And I have a lot of family members that live and work in New York City, and people in the surrounding areas as well. And I freaked out. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I was cool, calm, and collected. No, I freaked out. And I just thought in my mind, I need to go back home. I had an inkling that at some point I would go back home to New York City. I just didn't think it would be so soon. So this is just a little bit of insight into my career. I had a very transparent conversation with my managers that some people told me not to have. And again, use your discretion on what you want to share with your higher ups and your peers and fellow employees and all of that. But I decided to err on the side of transparency. So I reached out to my manager, a person that actually found me on YouTube. She knows who she is. And I said, look, I need to go back home. I probably sounded a little bit more flustered. I was like, I need to go back home. And I'll give this person a lot of credit. They pretty much told me, look, you're safer here. We'll try to get you a transfer and we'll try to make something work. But there's nothing that we can really do right now. And hopefully in a month or so, we'll have a better idea of what we can do for you and how we can help you. Because at that time, it was the beginning of the pandemic. We thought this thing was only gonna last like a month. Well, obviously we're laughing at that now, but we thought that it was gonna be, okay, just wait for a month for this to all blow over and you can work for the company, ABC News, on the East Coast. I said, great, I would love that. Of course I wanted to stay with ABC News, work for Channel 7, anything like that. But the months went on and on and nothing changed with the pandemic, and cases started going higher and higher, and travel restrictions started being placed, and all of these things started happening. You can't go to the hospital with your loved one if they have COVID. You know, all of these restrictions started being put into place, which made me even more nervous. And I made the decision to leave Channel 7 without any opportunities lined up. Nothing, blank slate, no job in sight. And it was hard for me to make that decision at first because I was thinking about other people. I was thinking there are so many people right now that lost a job because of COVID, and I'm just giving mine up. And that was hard for me to kind of battle with for a little while. But then I realized, as much as I loved my job, and I've had an incredible career, I've had a tumultuous career, I've had an exciting career, I've had a non-traditional career, even as a reporter. And I thought to myself, Gabby, this is bigger than a job. You're doing this because you want to be with your family. And for me, that's everything. And I think that it took me probably a couple of years of putting my career first, of putting money first, of putting those experiences first for me, maybe being selfish, some might say, for me to realize what was really important. And I think it took probably a pandemic to really put that into perspective. And I thought to myself, after a while, after talking with other loved ones and just pouring my heart out to them because I was struggling with this, you can always find another job. Even if it's not in the same capacity that you're used to working, even if it's in a different career, a different industry completely, you can always find a way to support yourself. But will you have your loved ones and people that you care about to share those experiences with? And the truth is, even though I did make some great friends in LA, I didn't have my closest loved ones to share those experiences with. And I knew that that's what I wanted the most. And we don't know exactly when this pandemic is going to end. We thought we did when it started, and people made predictions, but obviously they were wrong. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we can control what happens right now. And that was something that was hard for me because I did grow so close to not just LA, but the San Fernando Valley in particular. I was your girl. I was the one who was representing you guys. And I didn't take that lightly. And I just thought to myself, you know, I did see myself in that area for not necessarily permanently, but definitely for much longer than I was there. I was only in LA for about 2 years. There was a moment where I felt like I let you guys down. I felt like, here I am, I'm supposed to represent this community, this beautiful community, and I'm leaving. But I do take a little bit of solace in the fact that I think that you all in the San Fernando Valley in particular, there's such beautiful people that I met there, will understand how important family is. And that's why I made this decision. God forbid something were to happen to anybody in my family, I don't want to have to take a 6-hour flight and potentially have that flight get canceled because of new pandemic restrictions. And when there's an emergency and there's a family member that's at risk, you want to have as little steps as possible to be able to get to them. So I decided to move back to the East Coast. I miss LA already, I do, but I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to move back, to spend the holidays with loved ones, and to explore some of the opportunities that I'll be able to have here in New York City. And at the end of the day, this place is home. It's always been home. I was born here. I was raised all over the place, but I went to school here. I lived here for years, even after graduating. And when people ask me where I'm from, I proudly say, I'm from New York. And it's always going to be that way. So it's bittersweet. I already miss everybody on the West Coast. I miss Channel 7. That's one thing that I wanted to kind of let you guys know too. Nothing scandalous happened. I think a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, why did you leave? Oh my goodness, what happened? So many people reached out to me, whether on comments, through direct messages. If you guys have my personal contact information, then people will reach out to me, oh my goodness, what happened? And it was nothing scandalous. It really wasn't. I love the team at ABC7 LA. The people there are amazing. I wish that I could just bring all of them here to the New York area and work with them here. But I had to really prioritize what's really important to me. And what's amazing about the people in LA, a lot of the people at Channel 7 over there, they're originally from LA and their families are there too. So it was one of those things where I thought to myself, oh no, when I tell them this, I don't know if they're gonna understand. People were so understanding and supportive and tried to get me to stay with the company for even here in any capacity, because they truly were supportive and wanted to help me out. But it just wasn't working because of the pandemic. So I made that hard decision. You know what? I'll move back to New York, even though there's nothing lined up for me here. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody at Channel 7 for the opportunity to use this legendary channel and platform to tell people stories. I want to say thank you to the San Fernando Valley for letting me represent you. And I know that Channel 7 is going to pick someone that deserves to represent the Valley, and probably even somebody better than me. And of course, I want to say thank you to my family for dealing with all of the moves that I've done. It's funny, I was actually telling a friend recently, I grew up in a military family and we moved around a lot, and I hated moving around when I was a kid. And I always used to tell myself, when I grow up and when I am an adult, I'm not gonna move nearly as much. I'm never gonna move. And I think I've moved more as an adult than in my childhood. So there goes that, you know, when you plan, God laughs. But I'm excited about the opportunities. I think it took me a moment even to create this video. It took me a second to just think to myself, how am I going to say this? How am I going to tell them? What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Looks like we've got some interruptions. But I knew that something needed to be said, and I wanted to share with you guys what I'm doing and what I'm working on, and that life does go on, even when the dream is over. If you would have asked me in college what I wanted to do, being a reporter at the #1 station in Los Angeles, I would have been like, yeah, that's it. And I got to do that. So now that I've done that, if anything, at first I was sad about it, but now I'm like, wait, I accomplished that dream that seemed unattainable at some point. Oh my God, I can do so much more. So you will see me sharing more information about what I'm up to. I do have my own production company. It's called Vision and Focus Media. So if you're looking for any video, photo production help, if you're looking for on-air coaching and how to be more confident on camera, and looking for someone to set up a media strategy for you, I'm your girl. And I'm already working with some amazing people, and I'm so grateful to that. But the reason why I felt confident and ready to do this is because of the beautiful experiences that I've had in the media industry. So no, I'm not leaving the media industry. I'm just going to be working in it in a different capacity. So will I be on camera? Yes, just more as a freelancer for different media networks. Will I be doing voiceover work? Yes, a lot more in both English and Espanol. Will I be holding workshops and seminars for people in order to streamline their skills to be better on camera? Yes, I'll be doing that too. And there's so many things that I'm going to be working on and sharing with you guys that I probably just didn't have the time to before, or just didn't focus on and organize my life that well, which I'm trying to be a little bit better with that now. But I'm excited for what 2021 has in store. And I think you all should be as well. So thank you for listening to this video, for hearing what I have to say, for supporting me and following me and joining me on this journey, because it's been a journey. And please, if you have any other questions, if you have any other concerns, if there's anything that I can help you with, even if you're feeling a little lost in maybe a career transition, I've definitely been there, and probably more recently than you think. So feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to continue the conversation in any way that I can with you. But I definitely thought that you guys all deserve to know why I'm back home. But I'm happy to be here, and we'll definitely talk soon. Bye.